Hello and welcome back to Author Journey. My name is CJ Anaya, and today is going to be a video that is going to be a little difficult. I try to focus on the author's journey, but also how to teach you how to write and market and publish. So when I get really personal emails from people asking questions about how to handle being an author while navigating certain life situations, I don't generally post that stuff here because it's vulnerable, I guess, it's personal, and also because it's hard. I don't want to talk about it. But I also feel like it is part of a journey because life and the difficulties we experience in life impact our writing in every way imaginable, and it also impacts the way that we are able to write and sometimes what we write about. So I got an email over the weekend from a woman who we are going to name Marie for anonymity's sake. And she asked me how you continue writing when you feel so dead inside after divorce. And that really spoke to me and made me tear up a little bit because I've just recently been through one, which, and maybe some of you have seen that I kind of fell off the face of the earth when it came to YouTube channel stuff. I haven't really put forth effort to do anything because I've been handling other scenarios and situations. And for any of you who have been through a divorce, you know that it can be a little bit challenging and difficult. And I thought to just send her some resources and a short email that could kind of guide her in the right direction. And also, I just really didn't want to talk about it because I'm still kind of in the thick of it, and I've been processing things for a year and trying to get my feet underneath me. I think that it's always important to us to try to show people that we have it together. Especially if you're on a YouTube channel and you're trying to help others, you would like them to think or believe that you know what you're talking about or that you have a handle on life and you know what you're doing. But sometimes you don't, and I still work through things just like anybody, really. And so I thought maybe it would be a good time to start doing YouTube videos again and to talk about this a little bit, because it's not just divorce that can really wreck you when it comes to writing, that can kind of upend your life in a way where you don't write the same, or you may not even feel like writing at all. And I've talked about writer's block a little bit and how mental health can play a part in that, how life disruptions can cause writer's block. And for other people, when really difficult things happen, their way to handle it is to write. So this may not apply to you, and this may be too much information, and this may be CJ sharing way too much, and if you feel really uncomfortable about that, then you can hit pause and turn away from this. But I thought it would be important to answer this question because I'm still perfecting my ability to handle life and basically handle divorce while trying to continue my writing career and my freelance business. So I've been thinking about things that I've been doing, things that I've been learning, and I've come up with a few things, 5 things that I wanted to touch on. I even made a list, and it's right in front of me so I won't forget. So I think the first thing is allow yourself to grieve. I don't know, I know what specifically Marie is dealing with and the same thing that I'm dealing with, but I think that there are a lot of different situations in life where you got to grieve. You've got to grieve the loss of a relationship. You've got to grieve the loss of a loved one in the family, death, the loss of a job. I think we all experience a lot of loss in our lives. And because of that, I think it gives us perspective. Dang it. This is why I didn't want to do this, because I didn't want to cry. And then everybody's going to feel uncomfortable. I think that it gives you perspective. I think that it gives you compassion for other people. And I think eventually once you push through loss, as you allow yourself to grieve, it deepens your ability to write because it makes you more relatable. So in the process of loss and in the process of life happening, it's really important that you take the time to grieve. So in the case of a divorce, you're grieving the loss of a relationship, and divorce is different for everybody, and divorce happens for different reasons. And I'm not going to go into mine, but I was grieving that relationship for a long time. And then you worry about the way it impacts your children and worry that you're not being a good parent to them, and you're trying to focus on that while wondering if you're focusing too much on your career and not enough on them. Are things falling through the cracks? And it's just you need to recognize that it's okay to pause and process any way you need to. It used to be, and this is very personal, that I would go into my room, sit down, and stare at the wall. It was just my coping mechanism. The kids were at school, I'd go and sit and stare at the wall for a few minutes. And then it got to a point where I was like, I don't think this is working. I think I need to, get a therapist and work through those issues. But that kind of leads into my next thing, which is self-care. And therapy if you need it. Some people don't. Some people feel that therapy makes it worse. And it just depends on your therapist and how you're coping. But I think the thing that we really crave the most, even if we're introverts, is understanding. We want someone to understand what we're going through. We want to understand what we're going through. And just like any author knows, when you have a manuscript and you're too close to it, you can't see the cracks or the errors or the solutions. You need someone else to take a look at what you have and give you their perspective and give you advice coming from ideas that they have, because their clarity is a little better than yours is. So therapy is great. Reading books about the issues you're struggling with is a good way to go. Podcasts are a good way to go. And also, when it comes to self-care, take the time to, take a bubble bath. Take the time to get your nails done. If you're a guy, take the time to play basketball or do whatever it is that you like. Listening to classical music, singing in the car at the top of your lungs, having a conversation with God out loud, and not caring if other people driving by think you're a crazy person because you're talking to yourself. Although this day and age, you could be talking on the phone and nobody would know. So it would work either way. I have a lot of people in my corner, and that has helped. So self-care, support, all of those things have been a big help for me. So just to review, allow yourself to grieve. That's so important. If you don't process it, it's going to explode later on and not in a way you want. Self-care, make sure you're taking care of yourself while you're taking care of other people. The next one I want to talk about is gratitude. And I know that seems like a very difficult thing to do as you're going through trials in your life. But what I have found is that I have a lot of reasons to be grateful in my situation, because I am still best friends with my ex-husband. He's very good with my children. He's an excellent father, and we get along. And our number one priority was how this was going to affect our kids. I know that other people in the same situation are not quite so lucky. I know that divorces are messy, that children struggle. I know that financially, people are not as well off or doing as well and don't have things lined up the way that I already did before this happened. So I have a lot to be grateful for, despite the fact that this has been hard. And I don't want anybody to sit there and go, oh, well, this person's situation is much worse. I feel like that's detrimental, honestly. I think you can acknowledge that everyone struggles and everyone has trials. And also acknowledge that is really bad, but what I'm going through is bad as well. And as long as you can be grateful for the things that are going well in your life, it will also give you some perspective and help you as you navigate these very difficult trials. Next thing I wanted to talk about is serving others. I have found that in the process of going through this, that there have been a lot of other people in my situation who understand and who I've been able to reach out to and do things for. And it's interesting when you forget yourself sometimes, because we've talked about self-care, which is important, but other times it's important to forget yourself a little bit and think of other people. It feeds your soul, it feeds your heart, and it helps you deal with the difficult things that are happening in your life. It also brings really good people into your life who are going through some challenges and who can give you a lot of inspiration. So while service is helpful for other people, when you're helping them, you're actually helping yourself. And so that's another way to look at it. The last thing I wanted to say is be kind to yourself. I think that I've really had to adjust my goals and my expectations, and we're circling all of this back now to how this affects writing after you've dealt with a big trauma or a big life change, how you process all of it and how it helps when it comes to being able to write again. It took me 4 months to get to a point where I felt like I could write again. It may take you longer. I've never gone that long without writing. It was usually 2,000 words a day. I had my goals set. I was very dedicated. But what I found was that there were other more important things that needed my attention, like my children and my mental health. And I had to adjust my expectations. If you don't adjust those, you're going to be unnecessarily hard on yourself. And that is going to weigh you down even more, because not only do you have the negative aspects of what it is you're going through, but you also have yourself, in your mind beating yourself up. So you need to be kind to yourself. And now it's not, can I get 2,000 words in every day? It's, I get my freelance business stuff done during the week. And then I have one day where I spend the hours necessary to do the writing that I need to do. And that helps because I have a good partner who takes the kids and is still very much a part of their lives and is a good dad. So that's another thing for me to be grateful for, is that I can still write now that I am ready to. I want you to know that any pain you experience, once you process it and once you go through these steps where you think you've gotten to the other side of it, that's fuel for you. It's a way to inspire your writing. It's to make it more deeper, more authentic, more raw, and more real. You can tackle problems that other people are dealing with and help them. You can do it through fiction and you can do it through nonfiction. And I think what you'll find is that your writing becomes richer as you overcome life or the struggles of life. My good friend and I discussed this a little bit yesterday, and she said, I had to cry and then I had to look forward. And I think that's the biggest takeaway I would give to you, Marie, is that you need to cry, and it's okay to cry. And then you just move forward. So you just move forward, doing the best you can. And it's okay not to write until you're ready. And once you are, look out. What you write is going to be incredible. And I can't wait to read it. So I hope that this has helped. I know that not all of you have been through a divorce or will go through a divorce. I know that you're facing different challenges as you navigate this world of writing and publishing. And I hope that you will always just put things into perspective and know that you can grieve, that you can take care of yourself, that you can find things to be grateful for, that you can serve others, and that you can be kind to yourself. And it will help you as you go throughout this life, trying to be as real and kind and wonderful and authentic as you can in your life and in your writing. And I hope that helps you, Marie.